Welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Ari.
And I'm Stella. This past weekend was our dad's weekend for our
Yes.
sorority. So Ari, what did you do with your dad?
I went to the Oriad. There were a lot of parents that came down this weekend, so I went to the Oriad with my dad. We watched the game there, and we just kind of hung out, and it was a lot of fun.
I know.
It was good for him to
I
come
feel
back.
like it was a lot of sorority and like fraternities where it was dad's weekend. So it was pretty crazy on campus.
I feel like it's always parents' weekend.
No,
I feel like parents are
for
down all the
sure.
time.
My dad came down to Lawrence, and it was more of like a family event for me because my whole family came.
Yeah, you told me like a bunch of your brothers.
Yes,
came
my
down
brother and my cousin and my uncle and my dad. Family.
Yeah.
But then my brother brought his friends where I'm super close with them. So basically I had like 8 dads this weekend. It was really fun. And like just them like celebrating like me and like.
And of course it was like one of the biggest games that we have because it's Kansas State
Yes.
and KU, so
Yes.
a huge rivalry.
Yeah, and like we lost, but that didn't matter. I still had fun. We tailgated. We had great food.
Yes. And then tonight there's another KU game.
Yes.
So KU plays Michigan tonight. So that'll be definitely a really interesting game. That's a big game for KU. Michigan's also a really good school.
Yes.
So it'll be something.
And then there's a football game on Friday.
Yes.
It's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are driving there, but
I feel like there's a lot of students this weekend that are traveling to Texas to watch the game, so that'll be fun. And I think there's a lot of like concerts and festivities and other fun events for students to do while there. So.
Yes, well, that's all that we have for right now.
Yes.
But after the break, we will be back to discuss more about the tragedy that occurred at the Astroworld Fest.
Okay, so we're back, and as many people have heard, there was a very intense tragedy that happened at the Astroworld Fest held in Houston, Texas, with Travis Scott performing. You guys know a lot about that?
Yes, I have definitely seen a lot I've gotten all my news basically from TikTok and just like from the people around me.
Yeah.
But I've heard that 8 people died, and like I think the youngest, what I've heard, I think
It was like
14 years old, and hundreds of people were injured. And it was pretty insane. Pretty hard to believe.
And he's also, I know, facing a lot of like lawsuits now just for kind of not completely stopping the concert. I think that angered a lot of people's families that had lost loved ones at the concert. So I think a lot are just coping and dealing right now.
It's getting heated.
It is getting heated,
We got PD officials, Houston officials all over the case.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to see what comes Scott's way as far as like lawsuits or if he's gonna face any repercussions from the law for just the concert. But I feel like, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's completely his fault to blame for it. I don't know if you guys can agree. Like, I feel like there's a lot of components that like go into the show, like security, the venue, all that stuff. So I don't know if it's completely one person's fault.
I would agree with you on that. I think who to blame here is the organizers of the event. You know, who was it? Live Nation?
Live Nation.
Yeah. I think Live Nation is mostly to blame for it. I mean, obviously there's multiple things that are, in place, like, Travis Scott does have a history of encouraging, concert goers to, start rage out, not I wouldn't say incite riots, but like mosh pit, jump, like fences, get past security, things like that. Like
he has had a recent charge for throwing a riot due to one of his concerts.
Yeah.
So, it is facts. That is a theme of his concerts. But that's another thing too. Like in these situations, do you blame the concert or do you blame the artist? Because in the artists, they know how Travis Scott comes when he does his performances.
And I think that was kind of part of what he was saying. Well, he's like, you guys know that this is what I'm about. But at the same time, like, if it is getting that chaotic, I feel like he should have removed himself from the show and been like, I'm not going to perform if you guys are going to.
At least stop it.
Yeah, or at least stop it for sure.
Like, I don't know too much about, whether he stopped it or not. I haven't seen too much about, any of that. But from what I've heard, he kept the show going while all this was happening. And as a matter of fact, when ambulances were coming in to like help people that were dying and getting trampled, they, there were concert goers getting on top of them, dancing on them, blocking the way. So it sounds to me like he didn't even stop the show.
Yeah. When he first dropped that album, I actually went to the concert when he was traveling throughout North America, and he stopped in Kansas City. So I went to that concert, and even when I went, I got floor tickets. And I thought that it was pretty intense. Like, it was a lot of just like moshing and a lot of people pushing together. And I remember when I left the concert, I was like dripping sweat because it was just so claustrophobic and you're so close to everybody. So I can definitely understand where something like this could happen. It's unfortunate that it did happen, and it's unfortunate that people lost their lives. But
I've definitely heard a lot of stories about like people's experiences going to the concert, and it's just crazy. Like this one girl, she said that she was being pushed against the barricade, and the next day, thank God she survived, but she had bruises all over her ribs, her back, that she had to get. A security guard physically picked her up, took her out, and through through the VIP, took a bunch of girls, especially because a lot of the girls there were 5'2", 5'3", and I can assume that they were barely breathing because of just how many people were there. And the security guard took them and went to the back of the venue, and it's just insane to hear all these different stories about the people that were getting hurt. And
I congratulate bro for stepping in when you saw the
Yeah,
situation was
for
a mess.
sure.
Because there are many videos of people who were there, like the camera recorders, videotaping the scene, showing the show, and they didn't do anything. They didn't react to anybody or try to help or listen to anybody there.
Yeah.
Even though they saw people dying or
and that's just
jumped on.
such a terrible way to go out, getting literally trampled to death, getting stepped on to the point that you literally, I heard somebody talk about their experience, and they said that, you had to keep yourself, afloat and above everybody else, because if you went to the ground, you weren't going to come back.
But can I ask y'all this, though? Is this the end of Travis Scott? Is this the end of his career?
I think I think he's not going to put on a concert for a very long time until he figures out the financial issues and also just lawsuits that he's facing, and then if he's facing any kind of law repercussions. But I definitely feel like it's sad to people that went there and that being their first concert, they think that that's how concerts are, and that is never how a concert should be. So I think that's sad.
I mean, they did have Drake there, though.
Yeah, he did have Drake there, yeah.
Well, Drake's getting sued, too, for it.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that, too.
Yeah, he's getting sued, too.
Yeah.
They're suing, I'm pretty sure they're just trying to go after everyone because the whole concert was just a mess.
How did you guys feel about their apologies?
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't really
Man.
looked into it, but I've heard that Travis's was
a little bit insincere.
yes.
You and I were talking about that.
Bro.
Some apology.
And I like
No
Travis.
emotion
I
at all?
like his
No
music. I
emotion.
think he's a good performer, but I
Do you
just
think he didn't mean it, or do you think he's just kind of in the trenches, right? He's kind of sad in his feelings?
I think
you know?
he's definitely probably super emotional, knowing that he could have prevented this, not even prevented it, but he could have put on a safer production.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely going through a lot of emotions, and I'm sure it's hard for him. But also you have to think about it, a bunch of families are hurting and so many people are injured on top of that. So definitely more feeling bad for the people that went, the concert goers.
Hear me out. To an extent, you do have to blame the crowd. You do have to talk about that people were, trampling people.
Yeah.
That people were pushing people up against the barriers, like people were saying, it was a sea of just, bodies, but people don't have to exactly act like that, even though they're getting egged on.
And there's a maturity level to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot more news to come about it, but that's all we have for right now. But we'll be back with news with MJ and Tom.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
I'm MJ.
And I'm Tom. This is your Tuesday Good Morning KU News Update. The United States reopened its land and air borders yesterday for foreign visitors who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. This ends the 20-month ban that separated families, prevented tourism, and strained diplomatic ties that was widely criticized and unpopular among foreign countries, especially Canada and Mexico. Entry to the U.S. will not be totally unregulated, though, as U.S. authorities will oversee travelers' vaccination status and will require negative COVID-19 tests.
As the U.S. welcomes flights packed with travelers who have not seen family and friends since the COVID pandemic began, some analysts believe the next battle will be overpriced gouging by airlines. Flights from London to New York rose by almost 300% after the ban was lifted.
As the recovery from the pandemic continues, the university plans to increase tuition and dining and housing costs next year. According to the University Daily Kansan, KU received $10 million less from federal funding. The request for the increases must be approved by the Kansas Board of Regents.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly plans to introduce a bill that would eliminate state sales tax on food. According to the LJ World, Kansas is one of 7 states that fully tax groceries. Under the bill, a family of 4 would save an average of $500 or more each year.
When Mindy Ardrasevich takes over as Eudora Fire Chief next week, she will become the first ever female fire chief in Douglas County. Breaking new ground is nothing new for her, as 25 years ago, she was the first woman firefighter ever hired in St. Joseph, Missouri. She was most recently been the fire investigator and building inspector in St. Joe's.
In sports, the men's basketball team kicked off their season with an 86-60 exhibition game victory over Emporia State last Wednesday. Ochai Abaji led the team with 17 points, followed by David McCormack with 16, Remy Martin with 15, and Christian Brown with 10. Tonight, the Jayhawks will travel to Madison Square Garden to face the Michigan State Spartans. They will return home to Allen Fieldhouse on Friday night to play the Tarleton State Texans at 7 p.m. And all I gotta ask, are you gonna watch that game, man?
Dude, you know I'm going to watch that game. I'm a huge basketball fan when it comes to KU Jayhawks. I've been watching them literally since as long as I can remember. I was going to say, I can't think of a day, but as long as I've been around, I've been watching KU basketball.
Same here, man. I got to ask, bro, before we sign off, what's your prediction score?
All right. You know I'm going to go big. I think it's going to be Hawks by 90. I think Michigan State made a bad choice going to Madison Square Garden in New York.
Really?
Hawks by 90. What's yours?
Man, 90?
90.
Wow. Me, I think it's going to be a close game. I see the Jayhawks winning by 4 points. I'll say 60-56. That's my score.
56.
Yeah.
All right.
And with that, I'll wrap it up for today's news update. After the break, Aaron will be here to tell us how long this wonderful weather is going to last.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Erin Borchers here with your weather updates. Some headlines for you this week. Temperatures are staying fairly consistent as we work our way through this work week, and chances for rain are going to increase on Wednesday and Thursday, which will unfortunately kind of stop this nice weather that we have been having, but it's not going to put it on pause forever though. So looking outside right now, we're about 57 degrees. We might have some clouds hanging around. It's going to be a bit cooler than it was yesterday, but the clouds are just going to hang out all day. And for KU game day, even though they are not playing in Lawrence, if you are watching that game, here's a little forecast of what tonight's going to be like. At 3 p.m., between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., we're going to hit our high, which is about 65. The sun is starting to set early. It's setting around 5 today, I think. So right around 6 when game is starting, it's going to be about 57 degrees. It's going to stay fairly clear, though, majority of the night. And then at midnight, we're going to have some clouds kind of roll in for that Wednesday, and we're going to reach 47 at that time. So let's look ahead to tomorrow. We have rain chances. It's going to be a high of about 66. That's going to stay fairly overcast during the day. The actual rain's going to build up in the afternoon and evening. Right now, I see no actual severe issues for our area. There is some marginal risk for severe weather down south of here, but that's like Wichita and further south. So we're going to be fine up here in Lawrence. And looking through the rest of this week, we have again that rain on Wednesday evening and afternoon, and that Thursday we're going to have rain into Thursday night and Thursday morning. But the rest of Thursday will kind of clear out, be a little cloudy, but it'll be dry. And then these temperatures, if you look at that, if I step off there, you can see that we're fairly consistent all week. We're hanging around the 50s and a little bit of the high 40s, but we're getting into the lows overnight. So it'll be nice during the day when it's sunny, but it'll also be chilly. So don't forget to just grab a jacket as you head out the door. That's all I have for your weather update. Thank you so much for watching Good Morning KU, and we will be back here next Tuesday at 11 a.m.